District 1, please.
Wow, Mayor, thank you. That was a complete update. As I was saying, being out there yesterday, and most of the things are covered by the mayor, what the residents don't understand in these cuts. They made the decision, we have to live by, like the mayor said, and I hope we can come out of this in the future. Mr. Bromley put out that literature, some in my district and your districts, but that's a campaign. I had my campaign for the tax, because I wanted to keep some of these services. So the residents said, we don't need them. So you heard the mayor, we will provide the basics and try to get out of this emergency. We have no choice. So bear with us. For those that voted for it, I'm awful sorry. You have to endure and watch your city be on lockdown, more or less. Read about the newspapers. But we will come back. We will come back. We just have to get this council to work together and we will be back. Now for my report. I just have to get it out. It's just, I'm beside myself. So I had to say something, not just something to get her off. Relieve the pressure. I'm having a block watch meeting on Saturday, May the 10th, on Lisa. Calls to the service department were mostly pothole related. Need repairs on Steinway, Longview, Brook, Woodbrook, Lisa, Lee Road South, Turney, Dunham area, Carroll Drive, and Woodbrook. Curb repair on Badona, Shriver, Janice, and Seacole on Florence, which was referred to the county sewer department and the Maple Service Department. Both south of a stop sign on Cork Hill. I would like to thank the Service Department for all their hard work, keeping up with all the calls and requests. Couple of neighbor disputes, one ongoing problem on Longview with children harassing their neighbors, and one on Attorney Road over a fence. Both were referred to the law department. Police were also called. Thanks, Chief John. Thanks to the Recreation Department for putting the tennis net up in Dunham Park. Talked to Jim Lowe, and he had them up the next day. There was a break-in on Longview. Thanks to the police on their quick response. I would like to thank everyone who came out to vote. They sent a clear message for us to bounce the budget on 18 million in revenue, which we will do. This will call for limiting of service, so be patient. The phone is not answered at City Hall, and when you have high grass complaint, or if you want something done quickly, everything is open for cuts. I hope everyone remembers how they voted. Thank you all. Have a good evening. God bless you.
Thanks, Alex. Councilwoman Jones, District 2.
Good evening, everybody. I, for one, was trained by my son, and it took me about 3 years, and him grabbing my wrist more than a few times, to learn how to recycle. And now that I've finally got the hang of it, and I'll take my stuff and walk down the basement and stick it in the blue bag, I no longer need to do that. I'm not happy about it. But it's something that we need to do. And it doesn't mean that we can't do it in other ways. And I do think that we are going to try to find places. I mean, we read Monday, we asked for the management to get a dumpster for certain things. we could still work on that to see if there might be some type of central location for people to either put in at least plastics. And I don't know if there's any answers to that, but it's something to look into. And unfortunately, you're right to a point. Once you stop, it's hard to start. It's like when you start, it's hard to stop. So it goes both ways. I also was standing out at the polls yesterday at quite a few different locations and heard a lot from people. I'm not going to vote for the tax levy because I have potholes on my street and the last street that always gets recognized. But then you also hear, and I spent a lot of time with a resident that lives on Adams Street, and we talked for quite a while. And some of the things that we talked about, he kind of surprised me with, and it was, and Captain, I think this might be the first time you might hear this. I'm sorry, Chief. So used to saying, Captain, I'm sorry. It's just fear for the elderly that live in that certain area, and it was Adams and Lafayette going down toward Girard. And it surprised me where he was saying that there are kids that are trying to get into windows, to open up doors for adults to actually rob people during the daylight hours. And he told me that some of the people there, older people in their 80s, they're actually packing. And that even scares me worse because, your reaction and what could happen and all this other kind of stuff. And I don't know if it's something that, we need to have a block watch on or education, but that type of fear, along with the fear of us not knowing how we're going to be moving forward. And usually people come together in a crisis. And if you don't want to give us money, maybe you can give us time. I mean, take the time to work in other neighborhoods. Work with people that are on your street. Not complaining about the garbage that's in somebody else's yard because maybe they don't know what to do with it, maybe they can't move it physically. Ask. We're also here as your tools. If we need to have a dumpster, if we need to find a different way of pickup, if we need to find someone that can cut somebody's grass, if you can't do it or if somebody can't do it, Jerry Arnold has the wonderful idea, and it's a great idea. We do need to start working with raising our property values, and we have to start ourselves. We all have pride in our neighborhood, we have pride in our homes. We might have to have a little bit of help with the 2,000 some plus renters that are coming into the neighborhood, but maybe it's just prodding them along to at least keep the house clean, get the landlords to keep their houses looking good. And one of the things that I promise I'm doing this summer, along with hopefully a couple of other things, and hold me true to this and find out what's going to happen more like toward October. And I'm thinking maybe Councilwoman Agee is going to do this in her district, is we are going to be driving up and down our streets and we're going to be sending letters to people. And you might get a postcard saying, hey, your house looks really nice, thank you. And I'm hoping I have the time to do that part. But we are going to be sending letters to people asking them to voluntarily fix up their houses. Probably before it gets any worse. The little bit of paint, the tuck pointing the steps, the pulling out some of the weeds. One, just to make sure that somebody actually looks like they live in that house, because there's many houses in this city where you'll see somebody walking out of the house and say, oh my God, somebody actually lives there, I thought it was empty. That scares people. But it should also scare that occupant inside that house because, oh my God, if we think it's empty and you live there, some thug coming into your house, that would scare me. So this is what we're going to try to do. We're going to try to send letters to people asking them to voluntarily help fix. We're also going to send some information that we compiled of, and I can't really call them grants, but there is information and programs that the county has for Fix Up and Help. We're going to try to see if maybe we can get some people on the street to help their neighbors. I bet you half the people on the street don't even know half of their neighbors. I could be honest, I say hi and I don't remember names, so that's even worse. But get to the point of starting to be a community and to get together. And that's probably the help that I could give. And people also need to start investing into their homes to get our values up. But if we do end up having to put another levy on the ballot, we hope that you do reconsider your thoughts based on what the mayor said. I mean, he's telling you the truth. I mean, I don't know who we need to get here to explain anymore to it's like we're preaching to the choir because most of the people that are here each time. And I don't know if we need to say it different ways or more often, but that's what's going on. We're not taking the money didn't go anywhere, it just never got here. And when you have a budget that you have to hold to, some of the frosting needs to go away. And some of that frosting can be pretty scary because the things I didn't hear him mention is the senior center, the food pantry, recreation department, the things we take for granted. I know we get grants, but sometimes grants don't always cut it. It doesn't pay for salaries. And that's kind of scary too. So we have a lot to think about, and I would like to see if we could do some community meetings where we could get your input and ideas, just like Richard had, and he's unfortunately not here. 10 people came to his forum. And there were some people there from different districts, and they all got their frustrations out, and we all need to do that, but we also need to listen to you, and maybe you could come up with an idea that we could expound on, or maybe you could help us do certain things. And that's all I could say. So, congratulations, Chief, and everybody have a good evening.
Thank you, Tony. Councilman Zafrani, District 3.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I wanted to thank all the residents for coming out and voicing their opinion on the recycling and other issues. It is important, like Ms. Jones said, that you do voice your opinion because it offers different avenues for thinking. But we also have to have respect for each other and your opinions, whether you agree with them or not. I know that there's a lot of name calling going on and stuff like that, and that's your choice to do that. But just remember that the respect is something that goes both ways. Also, I wanted to congratulate Chief. See, I did that on purpose. Uncle Archick on his well-earned promotion, I guess you could say, or appointment. And I think if everybody goes up and introduces yourself to him, you'll find out that he is a very good man, and I think that Maple Heights is in good hands with his leadership. Thank you, and a report.
Thank you, Anthony. Councilman Jackson, District 4.
Congratulations, Chief. I got a whole page of stuff written out here that I wanted to possibly say. And just looking down at it, it's all negative about the defeat of this levy. And I think I'm just going to scrap that for right now. But, and probably because, unfortunately, with the cuts that's going to have to be made now, maybe seeing those cuts will shock people into the realization that you're going to have a choice on what kind of city you want to live in. You either want to live in the kind of city that has absolutely no services over and above the bare minimum, or you want to try to rebuild your city back to a city that people actually will want to move into. We have to get out of this debt that we're in, and that's going to take some major cuts. And some of them, we might not get back some of those services, and that'll be a shame if that happens too. This levy was for the residents, it was for the people. Without it, these cuts are just going to have to be made. Now we know what the funds are. Now we got to develop a plan to stay out of state fiscal emergency where they don't come in and run the city finances or looking over our shoulder about everything. And those cuts are going to have to be made. So when you come up to the microphone to complain about lack of services or slow response time, I want you to ask yourself, how did you vote on the levy? In the report.
Thank you, Councilman. Councilman Brownlee, District 5.
Thank you. The first. As you heard earlier, there is a 5K and a Fun Fest going on Saturday. You'll see up at the Athletic Center, there'll be a lot of things going on. They're going to have kids games, arts and crafts items. They're going to have sports clinics, put on by the high schoolers. They're going to have some band performance by the high schoolers, as well as there's going to be another band there. Dancing, physical fitness training. It looks like they covered just about everything you could think of doing at an event like this. So the event will start at 9 a.m. They'll start with the 1 mile walk and the 5K, which will run up to Stafford Park and then back. And then afterwards, starting at 10, they'll have their Fun Fest with all those events that I listed off. It's all to support and bring awareness to the Maple Heights Education Foundation. They offer scholarships to students, graduating seniors. So I think it's a great thing. Opportunity for us to get out and visit with each other, visit with some of the high school students, and to support something really good like the Education Foundation, the work that they're doing. Secondly, Memorial Day. Please come out for Memorial Day. I keep hearing that it used to be bigger, better, more well-attended. Memorial Day is a day that is close to my heart. Memorial Day and 4th of July are two of the two greatest holidays that we have in our nation. And so please set that time aside in the morning on Memorial Day and come out and remember the real reason for the day, which is to commemorate the lives that were lost, the sacrifices that were made, and also to meet those who have sacrificed also in not the ultimate way, but sacrificed nonetheless. So I'm sure we have time to meet some people. Bring out your kids or your grandkids to shake the hands of the veterans afterward and say hello and say thank you so that they learn what it means to appreciate the sacrifices that were made. Now, we had a Finance Committee meeting last month, and what I heard there, I'm hearing again here tonight. And frankly, I hear most every night. Even when you aren't here, even when you all aren't here, I hear the same thing. I hear comments like, well, if they pass this, that will help us out, right? If they do this, that will help us do things. It'll make our lives easier. Who's the us and who's the them, is what I want to know. Who's the us and who's the them? We sit here and we tell you, oh, you didn't know, oh, you don't know this, oh, you're too stupid to vote right on the levy, is what they want to tell you. That's the message I hear coming through loud and clear. And it bothers me. You heard all the comments about me, you know, I'm this, I'm that, yeah. I'm sorry to have failed you so grimly, darkly. But you know, I am here, not for us up here. I'm here for us, all of us. There's no us and them. There's no them in here. And what I heard yesterday, I had the sunburn show, the fact that I was out there all day long. It's a beautiful day. But what I heard is that there's a great distrust. There's a great distrust. It's not merely about the amount of money that's being paid. People want to know whether it's being spent well. I'm glad to hear tonight both the mayor and Mr. Adams say, we heard you. Because they didn't hear you last November when you voted no, 2-1. And they continued to spend like they had the money for the last 6 months. And so, I would say that I'm very glad that they heard you. Some people don't like confrontation. That's frankly how we got into this mess. This hole wasn't dug overnight. We will not get out of it overnight. If that levy had passed, guess what? We would still have trouble balancing the budget this May, like the mayor pointed out, surprisingly, tonight. That money wasn't going to just appear on our doorstep in the next 2 weeks, was it? No, it wasn't. Well, the garbage, you pay for that garbage pickup. You pay $180 a year, just as I do. for that garbage pickup. How much money does that generate? Is it enough to cover the cost? We don't know. But the mayor is falsely saying that that was adjusted by our reassessment of our property values. No, it wasn't. He said himself, they used to pay $15 a month. Guess what happens if you multiply it by 12? What do you get? Anybody know? You get exactly what we're paying right now. So it wasn't changed by our reassessment. Not at all. Where did that money go? We owed them $500,000 earlier in this year. And they put us on a payment plan. You know what that's like? That's like being in debt already and saying, you know what? Instead of facing my issue, I'll get another credit card. Who will give me credit? Who out there? I'm going to go down to this cash advance place. I'm going to get another little line of credit. So, and this is the best part. At that finance committee meeting, guess what we were told? We were led to believe that we were caught up with waste management. That's what Ms. Kroll said to us, to our faces. She said, we're caught up now. We were maybe 2, maybe 3 months behind. Maybe. Well, she didn't say $500,000 behind, but we're caught up now is what she said. She told us that, right to our faces. Do you think we're caught up? Is that what you're hearing now? Thankfully, the waste management representative accidentally leaked that at the meeting Monday night, or I still wouldn't know. So, you voted no, rightfully so, because we don't know we can trust what's being done with this money. Whether it's being misspent or not, I don't know, but I have no reason to trust that it is. And you know what? They said we needed this money. Well, you know what they said a month and a half ago when we were having our budget meetings? They said, oh, don't worry, past this budget. We already reduced the spending. It's only $18 million now. And we have $19 million coming in. Don't worry. Oh, but past this income tax increase because we need the money. Wait. Talking out of both sides of your mouth maybe is what it sounds like to me. We balanced the budget, but give us more money. Is anyone else seeing a disparity? I am seeing a disparity. That's why the folks who came to the polls, all of our neighbors said, I don't know about this. I don't know about this. That's why they said it in November. But I'm glad that we're listening now. But we're here because there was no willingness to have any confrontation. Oh, but there was in secret. Plenty of people up here talk to me in secret about everyone. Oh, yeah. They give me all the gossip. So-and-so this. Oh, so-and-so is the problem. So-and-so, so-and-so. But I got elected, and guess what? I actually said it out loud in front of everyone, and suddenly I'm the enemy now. Bill Brownlee's the enemy. Strange, isn't it? But don't worry. I'll tell you the truth to your face. I'll tell you the truth to your face. And I'll try my best to be nice. Sometimes I get a little riled up. But I have heard you from the very beginning. And you know this little campaign that everyone's all riled up about wasn't my idea. But when others brought it to me, I thought that sounds like a good idea. And these poor folks need some help because they want to communicate with their neighbors a message that they thought their neighbors needed to hear. So I helped them out. And that team of neighbors did a pretty darn good job of reaching out and letting everyone know what they thought was really happening here in Maple Heights. So I applaud them for their work. And, you know, the mayor's comments earlier, he said, they've done nothing for us. This is what I'll end with. They've done nothing for us. Our representatives, they've done nothing for us. You know what? I think we need to stop saying that. And I think we need to start saying, what are we going to do for ourselves? And stop whining about who won't bail us out of the hole we've dug for ourselves. So I think that we need to say, what can we do? Instead of saying what others haven't done. God bless Maple Heights, and we'll get through this.
Thank you. Yeah. Councilwoman Agee, District 7.
I just want to make one correction. Ms. Majors, you sent out the email on Monday. And during that time, you know I worked from 7 to 4. When you sent the email out, So that's why I didn't email you back or call you, but I talked to you at the meeting. Okay, yeah, but you had stated that only Councilman Brown and some more people. I'm just on Thursday, May the 8th at 6:30, I'll be having a block watch meeting at the Maple Heights Library in room 1. Congratulations, Chief.
Thank you, Ms. Ady.
And let me say Happy Mother's Day to all the mothers.
Thank you.
Thank you. End of report.
Thank you, Edwina. I also spent all day at the polls. I didn't quite get there at 6:30, but I did spend a lot of time at the polls. And contrary to some of the comments that you've heard tonight, I did talk with a lot of residents who were, I think, at heart, they were very open and shared information. They were not all angry, but there were some. There will always be some. But believe me, there are some really fine people who live in this city, who truly care about this city, and who have taken time and energy to share. One of them, or several of them, are residents that, a couple of them are here this evening, who took time to stand at the polls as well to promote this levy that went down. We also have folks here at the Senior Center who, one is going on 93 years old, but she volunteered to stand at the polls and talk to people. I don't know how much, some of them sat, but we also have Susan here who made the signs that announced that we were there and that we had something going on. We're not all perfect, but while the people that really truly care, I applaud them and definitely give them a pat on the back. It's wonderful to be eloquent and passionate, but I would also like to see some actual positive moves coming from the council and council individuals, and tell us what your positive moves are going to be. And there's also a little bit of distortion when we talk about facts and figures. Get them straight, and then perhaps put them down in a place where we can all share. We are trying very hard to get the website up and running. There's nobody to do it at this point. Any volunteers? We'd love to have you. Other than that, the job fair tomorrow ought to be very interesting. If you have anyone who is interested in a career, it ought to be interesting and educational. And with that, I'm going to thank you for coming to the meeting this evening and end this meeting with no further business at 8:50.